What is up, everyone? Renfail here, and I am ready to give you my final thoughts on Robin Hood Sherwood Builders, which I've been playing for the past couple of weeks, not religiously, but it's been in heavy rotation. And I have quite enjoyed my time in this game. Now, full disclosure, I did get a review copy ahead of the launch of this game from Playway and Keymailer, so shout out to those guys for making this available to me. And I have done an early thoughts video, and I want to say somewhere around 7 or 8 or 10, I think it's like 8 to 10 episodes of a sort of a playthrough series going through each one about 30 minutes long. So I've put in a good chunk of time. Skill wise, let's see here, how many skills do I have? You know, I've spent a few. I'm level 6. And it's been a pretty good time so far, and there are definitely things I like about this game, definitely things I don't really care for in this game, but overall it has been a very pleasurable experience. If I had to say right out of the gate, probably go with like it's a 7 out of 10 for me. It could be higher, but there just are some quality of life and sort of jank features that would need some work for it to get like an 8.5 or higher from me. I don't know that I've done 10 out of 10 for very many games. Like, sometimes yes, but rarely. But this is like a solid 7 out of 10 for me, and I want to talk about all the things I love first. So we'll go straight there and head out into the wilderness. So the first thing I love is Robin Hood. Guys, I love Robin Hood. I've had a fascination with Robin Hood since I was a kid. It was one of the first books I ever read growing up, and I've always loved the various adaptations, and this has been they've done a good job of taking existing Robin Hood lore and folding it into this RPG, where it's kind of like after many of the events you might have heard of from the books. So he's already pissed off the sheriff, he's robbed a few people, he's already had the fight with Little John, like they're living in Sherwood Forest. I have this encampment here, which is kind of the core of what everything is this encampment. So all that story is there, and we're in the heart of Sherwood Forest, which absolutely looks amazing, by the way. We go over here and take a look. I believe the sun this is to the east, so it's probably coming up right now. So we've got a nice sunrise coming up from the east, southeast, so it's probably mid-morning at this point. So visually, the game looks pretty good. It's obviously not a AAA production. This is definitely in the indie camp, firmly in the indie camp, but it looks very good. Movement is overall pretty good on the characters. Jump is a little wonky, but movement is good. And I love the fact that I can seamlessly go between mouse and keyboard and the controller. So this is mouse and keyboard, and then I just immediately go here, and now I'm, on the controller. I play this part of the game, the exploration part, I play with a controller. The combat, I play with a controller. And I only switch over to mouse and keyboard when I'm doing things like crafting, or if I'm maybe doing things like, I want to take a look at my map, or I want to go in here and move the map around. It's definitely easier with the mouse and keyboard, or to go into your inventory, go into your skills, and look at all these things. This is definitely easier with mouse and keyboard. So I like the fact that I can seamlessly transition between the two. Any game that gives me good controller support is winning in so many categories for me personally. So I love the fact that these guys have that in the game. It works very well. So that's really cool. The RPG aspect of the game is first and foremost. So I didn't know going into this how heavy the crafting survival elements were going to be, and they're definitely here, but they are tied to the story. So as an example, very early in the game you're taught that you need things like food, and you need to gather supplies to repair, to make weapons, to make all these different things. And then eventually you get to the point where you get into this kingdom management part of the game, where you can come in and start building structures, trapper's hut, shooting range, training grounds, tavern, blacksmith, kitchen, alchemy lab, weaving mill, all these different things that you can build. Now, all of those things tie into the skills that you need as Robin of Locksley to go out and about and explore the world. So we have all of these abilities here: sword attacks, bow attacks, and your senses, things like keen eyesight or tracking. So I came across a quest very early on in the game from a guy, I believe his name was Nicholas, and he needed help finding these guys who had robbed his caravan. but it wouldn't let me do the follow-up quest until I had level 1 tracking. So what did I need to do to get tracking? Well, I had to first build a trapper's hut in order to train the tracking ability. In order to do all of that, in order to build the trapper's hut, I had to go gather, let's take a look, the trapper's hut. Hang on. Go back. Trapper's hut. I needed 4 workers, 330 coins, 20 pine, 10 clay, 6 reeds, and 2 bamboos. So I had to go out and find all of those things, harvest all of those things, bring them all here, put them together, and do this. And in order to do all that, actually first I had to build some structures to get more people in my community because I didn't have enough workers, so I had to build more workers. So the crafting element of this game is at the core of leveling up your character. So if you want the best skills for Robin, if you want to get the best sword attacks and all your sensibilities and everything else, let's go ahead and exit out of this. If you go in here and look at this tab right here, the active skill, yeah, it's active skills, I think. You can go in here and look at all of these things. Like if you want to learn these things, there are certain things you have to do first, especially related to senses. But all of these have abilities that are tied to special attacks and basic attacks and so on and so forth. So you need the sword, you need the training grounds, shooting range, and trapper's hut. So this is just a really cool way in my mind of saying here's a settlement, kingdom management, crafting, survival, RPG all tied into one. So the core gameplay loop of this game is superb. I just really enjoyed all of it. There wasn't anything about the gameplay loop that I disliked. It was really fun to go in and say, okay, I want to work on this. I need to go build this structure. On top of that is a really cool map and fast travel system, and the map is quite large. I think I've done, let's say I've done, in total between all the episodes I've recorded, I've probably done about 6 or 8 hours of gameplay and maybe 10 plus in total with all the things I've tried out. And I've only uncovered a tiny portion of this massive map. So there's a lot to see and do here. I don't know what the max level is, but I do know that one of the things you can do in this game is spend points on skills when you level up. And much like other RPGs, you can go a whole lot of different ways here. They sort of got the path of shadows, the path of dexterity, path of the blade, path of craftsmanship, path of the arrow, path of endurance, and all these things do different things. So I've gone down here and done things like, well, I want more inventory space and I want to be able to carry more stuff, so I've taken things like that. But I also want to do better damage with the bow. I want more hit points. I want to reduce my bow wear and tear. Reduce the energy cost of my bow shots. I want to do more damage when I'm mining, so I want to mine more things. I want a 20% yield chance when I'm harvesting. You know, I want more energy. You know, I want extra yields when I'm cutting down trees. I wanted all those things. And then going up into here, I said, all right, I want more effective healing items, you know, things of that nature. You could look at all these things that you want. But I went with Stroke of Luck, Vital Spot, and this one, Sprint Speed, plus 5%. Yes, please. And this one in particular, Chivalry's Dead, Backstab damage and arrow damage, 20%. So just going through here and picking all of these things, the core RPG of this game is here. It's got good writing for the most part. It's not great writing, but it's good writing. It's got a solid backstory. It's got rich, deep mechanics, and it truly is a joy to play because of all these elements working together. But let's talk about some of the negatives. First and foremost, the inventory management is an absolutely... I'm just not a fan of the inventory management. I kind of feel like this is janky as fuck. But that doesn't take away from my enjoyment of the game. You do have... these things, you have a certain amount of space that you have, and then you have over here the interactable items which you'll need when you're out and about adventuring. Oops, I grabbed the wrong controller. Because it goes into the radial menu. So if you want to eat, you have to have something in your hand, and you have to physically eat it. Like so. You want to drink something, you need to put something in your hand and drink it. Well, then you need to make sure to refill your empty bottles. There's a well over there in the middle of the town. We could do that there. And you could repair weapons. We could switch to our felling axe for trees. I could switch to my bow. I could switch to my sword. I can block with my sword. All that stuff is here. But the inventory, I just feel like the overall UI, some of it I like this looks good, this looks good, this looks good. This isn't bad, but I'm not a fan of just, it felt wonky. And some of that is just because it's fine on mouse and keyboard, but it's not so great on controller. And since I play with a lot of controller stuff, it's like anytime I need to go into town and do something, it's better just set the controller down and switch over to this. And I just wish the UI was a little cleaner in that regard. But that's a personal preference thing for me. There are two things in this game that are, in my opinion, not so hot. And again, 7 out of 10 of my score. You should absolutely play this game. It is worth your time. It is absolutely worth it. The voiceovers in this game, so they have an actual voice actor for the character Robin of Locksley. I suspected that they were using AI voice for all the other characters in the game, but I have been told, and I don't know if this is the case, but I was told on several of my videos that they just used a voice-to-text program that changes the output so you can have different types of voices. Because the voice acting for all of the NPCs is absolutely atrocious. But I will give them credit for the fact that it is pretty much everywhere. I think this is a fairly close to fully voiced game, if not fully voiced in its entirety.
Dear boy, there's more and more words spoken about you in the land. It's a delight in itself to watch you strike that royal nerve time and again.
Not so good. And that's one of his better lines. Now, I don't know if he's going to talk to anybody here because we've already had the conversations with the NPC, so I don't know if I can have you hear Robin's voice. But they have a pretty good voice actor for Robin. Let's see if I can talk to him.
Did you fetch some balm from Marion?
That's Robin's voice. So he does a good job.
Last time I let myself get coated with the stuff, it was like having petulant on me skin.
That's not good voice acting. What the hell? Something just bit my foot, man. I gotta pay attention. We have ants in here sometimes. I'll take that as a no.
I'll take that as a no.
Hang on, I'm just checking things. Spiders and scorpions and all that stuff.
Not worth a piss medicine like that. With all due respect to Maid Marion, I'd rather walk this off.
Better start walking right now. I've got an entire Sherwood to turn to our side.
So as you can see, the voice acting for the main character is quite well done. The voice acting for everybody else is not, and it's noticeably bad. Like, it was like the first time I started hearing other characters, it was like, oof. So that is, you know, kudos to them for fully voicing this game, but, you know, obviously they're working within a restricted budget, so just bear that in mind when you get into this. The writing is fairly good, but the dialogue, you know, performance, not so much. The other thing I don't like is the combat on the controller. Now, I've done it on the mouse and keyboard. It's a little bit better, but the sword combat is sword combat. Like, there's nothing special about this. It's literally block or just, you know, do combos, and then you have what is it, the special attack, which in this case is a swirl, and you can learn additional combos and additional moves. But this is the one that I just, it's not, there's no lock-on mechanics, right? And so when you go into bow mode, the first thing you have to deal with is breath, which goes away, and then you start shaking. So there's that aspect of it. And with no target lock, the enemies are constantly dodging and ducking and things of this nature. I found it to be literally next to impossible to hit any targets when I was playing with mouse and keyboard if I'm using the bow. But you switch over to the mouse and keyboard, and it's much easier to, you know, just like when we're playing Call of Duty, you know. But on Call of Duty, you've got aim assist with the controller. There is no aim assist here for the controller. So if you're doing mouse and keyboard for the ranged, you're fine. It's pretty easy to stay up with the guys as they move around and duck and dodge. Pretty easy to stay on top of them, fire at them, and take them down with ranged combat. But on the controller, it sucks. So, that being said, those are really the only flaws that I found in the game, and those are largely, I would say, you know, those are not objective flaws. They are subjective flaws in that they are things that I personally am sort of nitpicking. Because overall, the pleasurable, I'm starting to sound like one of the voice actors. The overall experience for me was very pleasurable going through this game. Like I said, I love Robin Hood. The music is spot on. The atmosphere is really cool. There's a good day-night cycle. The graphics look pretty good. I showed you guys the sunrise as we're coming in. As you can see, it's raining now. And if we wanted to take a look, I can go show you another area really quick, just so that you could see another area. What's the farthest? I think I have some signposts all the way over here. So I can show you what some of the other landscape looks like, because we're obviously in the heart of the forest, and we can actually go out and see this kingdom at large. And we can check that out. As far as the way to play this game, you can go stealth, you can go assassin, you can go ranged, you can go melee. You can really build out whatever you want with the skill system. So it's been, I've quite enjoyed that as we've gone along. So we're getting out of the forest a little bit here. Let's go down the road, try to get up on a hill actually so we can see something. Obviously, there's things you can harvest as you run along, like that right there. That's going to be some sage, I think. Yeah. Get XP. Something up on the road ahead of me. Quick commercial break, everyone, to celebrate and give thanks to all of these amazing people who keep me on the air full time. Really appreciate the support. All you got to do is join as a member. You get access to private videos. You can also do super thanks on any upload, or super chats and stickers on any live stream or premiere you see. And beyond that, don't forget we're multi-streaming over on Twitch now, so you can support over there as well. Thanks so much to everybody. Let's get back to the video at hand. It's an event. The hard lot of an artist started. So these are events that you can come across. I'm not going to do it while we're sitting here, but essentially, there's somebody that's getting assassinated here, and so, well, heck, we could go up here and take a look. I could show you what I'm talking about when I mean the combat is super janky. Oh, I don't have any arrows. See, I can't get him targeted. So if I switch over to the...
I think I heard something.
Got him. So this is what I'm talking about. Mouse and keyboard is much easier. By the way, the combat is mostly, you know, there's some stuttering. All right, did you see what he just did there with the dodge? This is like impossible to do on the keyboard, on the controller, I should say. We gotta get away from these guys. Shoot his legs if nothing else. Oh shit, that guy's right behind me. So then if I want to switch to my sword, I'll just switch it over here. And I can actually do sword combat when I'm doing... Anyway, the random hitching you're seeing is not because the game has low performance per se. I'm running Streamlabs on an older laptop, so, you know, there is some stuttering now and again, but only when I run Streamlabs, so don't take that as the game's fault. It's me having older hardware. I have a 1080 in my So see how there's no target lock? Alright, now one thing you can also do, I'm going to back up or try to get away from him. I want to show you one thing you can do. Is you can slow time, which can help you get more shots off. But these guys essentially, I'm back on the controller by the way. The shields are a pain in the butt. You kind of constantly be moving. So, you know, the combat leaves a little bit to be desired, but it's the storyline I'm here for. I'm an RPG fan. Oh, is he limping? That's pretty awesome. Oh, crap. Did we get him? We got him. So I think we just rescued this person. We can go loot up if we want to. We can come over here and save the villager.
Haven't saved an artist from an execution yet.
Some artist, I'm far from Master Hugo, Simon, or the like. but I enjoy combining hues and forms on the graceful canvas of a house wall.
Good for you.
Yes, it sounds like a pleasant occupation.
Indeed, but there's no coming...
It's all good. I'm skipping all this. We'll get to the end. So I got reputation increase, because there is reputation in this game. I got a house key to go loot something somewhere. I got some loot, and I can come over here and loot these bodies if I want to as well. Like so. And that's it, everybody. It is a cozy little RPG with a crafting element and a survival mechanism in place. The survival mechanism, as far as I've been able to see, is just you need to eat and drink. And just try not to starve and die of thirst. And as long as you do that, everything else is crafting, blended into the RPG. It's a fun game. It does have some jank. It does have some issues, but I still think it's worth it. You should give it a shot. Check it out. Again, shout out to Palward and Keymailer for giving me a free copy of this game. I had a great time playing it. It's out there now in the wild for those of you who want to enjoy. Go forth. Save Sherwood Forest. Have some fun with your merry men. I'm out, everybody. Like, subscribe, hit the bell icon so you never miss an update. Daily streams here and on Twitch. I play a lot of games. Check them out. There's a Patreon. There's a Discord. See you next time, everybody.